on Wednesday, last day of review, I said we're going to do a different packet because we kind of did all the other questions. The College Board puts out 2 practice tests. This is practice test number 2. It has nothing but medium and hard questions on it. So we have done the one that we finished and we spent the most time on. That was the one that I would absolutely positively spend the most time on.
To find this. So the PSAT is the pre-test, like the practice test, one of the tests.
Right.
And this is the practice test.
Yeah, this is the practice test and the practice test for the test. Right.
Okay.
There you go. I know we've talked about it before. Some of you are interested, some of you are not, but I'm saying sometime between now and the end of summer, for those of you that truly want to maximize your scores on the SAT, then you need to do some independent study. That means you take your lazy butts, you go on Google, and you Google SAT prep. And whatever comes up that says, or free SAT prep, and whatever comes up now, there's plenty of businesses out there that'll say, oh, we offer free, and it really is just a way of getting you to go on their website, and then eventually they're going to ask for a credit card or something like that. I know you guys don't want to hear, but Khan Academy has a absolutely 100% free one. It's okay. For those of you that truly want to do better, then there are paid services, including here in the Springs, that offer SAT prep. The point being is that you kind of reach the level of teachers aren't going to be the ones that prepare you specifically to take a test. Your math teacher's going to teach you math, but you're not going to take a course specifically on how to do well on the SAT. If you really want to maximize your score, then you guys need to be proactive between now and a year from now when you take it for real, right? And do something about it. These 2 practice tests are not the difference between you passing or failing the SAT, right? They're just, a way of us to at least look over before the test of what some questions will look like. The second main point, hopefully you saw it the last 2 days, which is, doesn't matter if the question looks hard. Some of them are definitely hard. Some of them just look hard. Unfortunately, you got to read through it and determine whether you think it's hard or not. Some of the major techniques are to always look at your answers. Try to eliminate answers if possible. And eventually, if you can't answer it, put it off. Don't answer it right then. Maybe you'll get some knowledge from other questions that help you to answer the question. Put off the guessing until the end of the test. Other teachers might tell you other strategies. Okay, this is strategies coming from me, Mr. C, based upon my experience. I would hold off on the guessing until the very end. If you're very disorganized and you screw things up all the time, you're like, well, I will forget to go back and, Matt, maybe, I don't know.
No, I always.
Okay. Then maybe that's a bad technique for you. But for most of us, we can, the teacher said, I forget what they say, but I asked on Friday because we had a big briefing on the PSAT. And there's I believe they tell you that there's 30 minutes left. I forget. I kept asking, I said, is it a 5-minute or 10-minute warning? The 5-minute warning, you don't have time to do anything but maybe one problem type thing. That's it. So you get the 5-minute warning and you don't already have things filled in, then you're probably, panicking, I got to fill in the blank ones type thing. But 5 minutes, you can spend time trying to figure out one more type thing.
So what happens if you run out of time and there's 5 or 6
at the end? You get zeros.
No, you just
well, I'm saying they're not going to count down, say 10, 9, 8, put your pencils down. You're going to get a warning, very close to the end of the test. I don't know if it's 10 or 5 minutes or 1 minute, but you can certainly go A for all your blank ones type thing. But remember, you're bubbling them in. So literally, if it's 10 seconds, you won't have enough time. You got to bubble them in nice and dark. So like I said, I always recommend, about 10 minutes left. That's when it's time to say, okay, I'm never going to get those 6 questions, A, B, letter C, so whatever one floats your boat. If you have eliminated some, by the way, when you get your physical book, that's where you're going to do your scratch work on. You're not going to give you scratch paper. All your work goes in the actual book itself. So there'll be, it'll be like this. There'll be space that you can do scratch work and stuff like that. Kind of like what we were doing in class. But no, there's not any scratch paper, no graph paper, no protractor or anything like that. Not that you would need that. You won't need a compass, anything like that. I will be curious if you guys tell me, hey, there was. I remember the SAT. Now this was the SAT, not the PSAT. I remember the SAT having a good number of geometry questions, like not like half, but like it was more than one, which is all this one has as well too. This practice one. There's only one question that's a geometry question. Now you could argue that the ones with the graph have some. Remember, and this is the second one, which is harder. There are kids in sophomore year that are taking Algebra 2 right now. So there might be a few. I'm looking at question number 12 here. That's an Algebra 2 question right there. But once that's explained to you, I mean, if you're curious, I can't explain it to you. You haven't been taught that yet, but I can explain it to you. You can see, well, that one's actually a very easy question. You just haven't been taught it yet. All right, ready to get started? All right, same drill as before. We'll start off with Danny. You get to pick anything. There's a calculator, non-calculator. Pick one that you think. I would say, because these are the more challenging ones, I would say before it was pick the hard one. Now I'm going to say, well, let's see if your intuition is correct. This time I want you to pick an easy one, or what appears to be easy. Let's see if it's easy or not. Number one is an easy one. Good choice. Good choice. Why is this not? Thank you. Yeah, smart boards have kind of like fallen out of favor because it ended up being like, well, it was a pretty cool thing, but it doesn't really.
You have to like click that thing.
I know, but I'm saying it didn't really. Teachers use it. I had one, and it was like, okay, it was really cool, and then all of a sudden it was like, it's not trash. It's just like the promise of what it would deliver never materialized. And that was the other thing too. And then you had to calibrate the pen and all that. Okay, here we go. Go ahead, Danny. What do you think they want you to do? What does equivalent mean? It means it's the same. So which one of these? And notice it says which of the following. Okay, that could be plural, right? Could be. We don't know. Which of the following is equivalent? Well, what's that say right there? So could it be A? No way at all. Could it be B? Well, what's happening in B? It looks like they factored out a 39, right? Looks like they took a 39 out from the equation. Can you factor 39 out of 15 and 24? Like, can you divide 15 and 24 by 39? No way. The other way is use the distributive property. 39 times A, neither one of those, so it's not that. How about the second one, or C?
I got A. I will do.
Yeah, but it says add. It doesn't say multiply.
Add 24 plus 15.
Yeah, but they're not like terms. They're not like terms. This one has an A.
There's only one A, dude.
Right. Is it C?
No.
So, I mean, by the process of elimination, it better be. So it looks like all they did was factor out an X of both. Yeah, it's D. This was an easy one. This is a 10 to 22nd one. I don't know if I want to make a bet that number one is always going to be easy. Maybe. If I were writing a test, number one would always be easy. I don't know if that's true on the SAT, PSAT, but certainly was on the practice test. Both number ones on the non-calculator portion on the practice test were pretty easy. Okay, Matt. By the way, did I give you the answers? I believe I did. Yes, look at the very last page. You see it? And it said question number one, the answer was B. No, I'm looking at the calculator. It was D. We were right. All right, Matt. And you can pick calculator, not, I don't care, anything. Pick something you think is easy.
I want to do something hard.
I know, but let's be honest with ourselves. We need to get all the easy ones done before we tackle something that we may or may not. Now, we know that just because it looks easy, it may not be, and vice versa as well too. But I'm saying you guys can get the easy ones. You can get the medium ones as well too. Hard ones on calculator, non-calculator. Non-calculator number 11. Okay, so that's clearly a geometry question. Clearly a geometry question. Try not to look at the answers so you get a fresh thing. Okay, So let's see. Oh man, it's another ratio one, the hardest chapter in the geometry book, the ratio one. Both questions came from that one chapter. The one we did before that one day, and this one's another ratio one. Okay. In the figure above, the following ratios have the same value: AB to BC. So AB, which of the following has the same ratio as AB to BC? So just follow the pattern. AB to BC is what?
I think it's C.
Yeah, I'm saying AB to BC is what in terms of the triangles? Where's AB? Right here. BC is where?
Right there.
So we're talking about the larger triangle. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Now you gotta have words to describe that. For me, if I look at the triangle, AC would be the longest side. You see that?
Yeah.
So this would be medium to small on the big triangle. So I've set up the pattern of medium to small of the larger triangle.
Okay,
So I need medium to small of one of the other two triangles.
BD to DC.
Okay, let's see, BD to DC. So BD and DC would be on the very, very, very small one. Is that medium to small?
Yeah.
Well, could be.
So my button should be like-
Well, there's no right triangles there. We don't.
Yeah, but like BC looks longer than BD.
Okay, so maybe.
It's slanted.
How about BCAC? BCAC. That would be, well, that's not small, so it's not that one. See? ADBD. All right, ADBD would be on the medium one. Remember, we got to go medium to small. So if I'm looking at this triangle, the medium one would be this, and the small one, I need to go BABD. Is that what it says? Last one? DCBC, DCBC. That we're back to here. I need to go medium, small. Here's medium, here's small. So I need a BDDC. Nope. So what are we saying the answer is? Somebody check it?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Remember when I did we didn't do well on this chapter, by the way, as a class. And I kept saying to you over and over again, I said, just establish a pattern and stick with it. Once you get that the triangles are similar, then, you just stick with a pattern. And any pattern is acceptable. Now, they told us what pattern. So that one actually was an easy one.
Look at number 10 real fast. That looks like pain and suffering.
This one?
Yes.
We're not doing it, but look at that one. That one's terrible.
How do you know it's terrible? Just because it's got a lot of words?
Look how many numbers and letters are in it. If there's a bunch of letters, then it means it means very, very crucial.
Oh, you're going to make me do this one. Let's see. A carpenter has $16 which to buy supplies. The carpenter needs to buy both nails and screws. The nails cost $12.99 a box. Screws cost $14.99 a box. If N represents nails, how much were nails? How much were nails? I better have $12.99 N. Which ones have $12.99? Oh, they all do. Okay. That didn't help. But notice some of them say greater than or equal to, some say less than or equal to. What was the 60? He has $60. So is that going to be a greater than or equal to or a less than or equal to? So immediately you can eliminate. I can eliminate C and A. You see the logic? He's only got $60. He can't spend $100. So I'm going to say right now, it doesn't look too bad, and we've already eliminated two answers. Hey, even if we have to guess at the other two, who cares? We've eliminated it down to a 50-50. Before it was 25% chance. Now we got it down to a 50-50. Let's read what else it says. N represents the number of boxes of nails. S represents the box of screws. Which of the following systems of inequalities models the situation? All right, what did N and S represent? The number of nails and screws. All right. A carpenter has $60 to buy supplies. The carpenter needs to buy. What does that mean, needs to buy? Hey, does he have the option to buy nails or screws? He's got to buy both. Okay. So this says, look at the first one. We know the answer is either B or D, right? This says if you add N and S for what? N and S represent what? But what? Not just nails and screws. Boxes. right? If these are boxes of screws, could n plus s be less than 1?
No.
It ain't that one. You're done. This was a ridiculously easy one. You thought it was impossibly hard.
It looked so painful.
It does. It does. How many times I had to tell you? Now, how are you going to know whether it's hard? Well, you got to actually try it. This one it ends up, check my answer, make sure it's D. All right. Some of these will be hard, but just because it looked hard, this one wasn't. This was actually pretty easy. Now, okay, great. I'm the math teacher. I'm the one saying this. But if you thought this through of what N and S represented, you should have been able to get there. Okay. So that one wasn't hard.
It would have taken me a couple of years.
That one probably would have been a 4 or 5 minute one, but it's worth to spend 4 or 5 minutes if you're going to get it right. Eventually, you're going to reach a point like literally you've spent 6 minutes on a problem, you've got nowhere with it, now you've just wasted 6 minutes. Okay.
Is there a reading test or writing and language test and math test?
Yes, there's 4 total tests.
That's it?
That's it. That's why your test is only 3 hours.
3 hours. That's like
Okay, that's like, okay, look at the CMAS. There's like 10.
Well, that's why you're not doing that anymore. Congratulations. All right. What are we on? Wes, pick one.
Oh. Am I looking for an easy one?
Yeah, I would say I would like for you. I mean, at least we would get the confidence that one, either confirm our ability to pick easy ones, or 2, confirm the fact that it doesn't matter what it looks like. Some of them are hard, some of them are easy.
3 non-calculator.
3 non-calculator. 3 non-calculator. This is easy. Grab your calculators.
Non-calculator.
Oh, it's non-calculator. All right. System of equations, just kind of depends. This could either be an easy one or a hard one, depending upon, you guys remember how to do system of equations. We can solve by graphing calculator. We can solve by substitution. We can solve by elimination. Which was the easiest technique when you didn't have a calculator?
Civic Corner and Dry.
Besides that,
That's 5.
elimination. Oh, you said 3? Sorry.
No, I'm pretty sure 3 is nicer than that one.
Which of the following is a solution? Oh my word. I'm horrible today. By the way, that was easy as well too.
That's 2.
Can't do anything. Where's 3? All right.
Same.
You have so much in common.
Which of the following ordered pairs satisfies? What does it mean to satisfy? When the math person says satisfied, clearly they don't mean it tastes good or something like that. What does it mean to satisfy?
It fills in what
Big fancy words for it makes it true, it solves it. So whenever you see the word satisfied, these are answers. One of these, or maybe more, right? Because remember, quadratics can have more than one answer. Which of the following ordered pairs? It could be 2, we don't know. By the way, it's a linear. How many points solve a linear? One unique one, right? Remember, on a quadratic, it can cross the x-axis 2 places, but on a linear, 1 place. That's it. So there's only one possible. So when you throw in 0, you only get one other number for a linear. So there's only one answer here. This one isn't easy because this is just, if you don't want to solve these, you could. Just simply plug and chug if you want it to be that way. You want to do plug and chug or you want to solve it?
I would to control the corner.
Yeah, but look at the numbers. They're not that bad.
Answer for things.
What is the answer?
Would it be easier to mess with the quadratic or the linear? So do you want to solve it or do you want to plug and chug? Your choice. Okay, so let's do plug and chug. It's the tried and true technique of poor mathematicians. Efficient mathematicians everywhere. I don't know how to do it, but I'm just going to do a plug and chug and see if it works. So I'm going to say let's mess with the linear. It's just easier to do the math. Remember, only one of these will make that one true. I don't need to check it on this one, or do I? I might have to. You do have to check it because it could make one the linear true, but not the. But the thing is, we can eliminate our possibilities very quickly.
I know, but like which number is X and which number is Y?
You don't have a chance on this test.
No, I don't.
The first one's X.
X, Y.
I thought so. That's what I would have guessed. But I was just making sure.
Hey, does -4 minus 4 equal 0? Does -4 minus 4 equal 0? Does -4 minus 4 equal 0? Is anyone going to answer me? I'm just plugging in the numbers. Does -4 minus 4 equal 0?
Yes.
In what universe?
-4 minus 4
It's -8.
-8.
It ain't 8.
Boy.
Does 6 minus 4 equal 2? The 6, I'm throwing 6 in for y. 6 minus 4 equal 2? Does 14 minus 4 equal 3? Remember, it's got to be true for this one at least. Does 9 minus 5 equal, 9 minus 4 equal 5? All right, we got two possibilities. One of them will make this one true. But you start with the linear one, and that way, because the math is easiest. You could have started with the quadratic. Okay, this one's got more meat to it, right? You could just factor this. By the way, that factors to x, two numbers, multiply, add to that. Plus 4 minus 1. Okay. All right, let's see what happens here. Remember, it goes x, y. So 2 squared plus 6.
B does not make it true.
2 squared plus 6. That'd be 4 plus 6. Talk, somebody. 10 minus 4 is, who was saying B does not make it true?
I got 14.
This is the x. 2 squared is
2 squared is 4.
2 times 3 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 4.
10.
Minus 4 is 6. It's true. All right.
Wait, I did 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 4.
Yeah, but it's just 3 times x. That'd be 3 times 2.
Yeah.
3 times 2 is 6.
Yeah.
4 plus 6 is 10. 2 squared is 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. We do have to check the last one just to make sure, right? 5 squared, I'll write the number so we're not doing this on our heads. 5 squared?
We know it's 25.
3 times 5? Minus 4. Add those two? Minus 4. Well, it's not 9. The answer is B. Yeah, but you forgot to multiply. You said 3x. X was 2, so 3 times 2 is 6.
I did 4 plus 3.
Yeah, but it's not a 3. It's 3 times x.
I know.
That would be 3 times 2.
Plus 3 times 2.
That's 6. 4 plus 6 is 10.
How did I?
That's why I kept yelling it louder and louder, hoping it would sink in, but it never did. All right. So, I don't know. That's probably more of a medium one, but that one wasn't too bad. All right. What are we on? Chris, pick one. Calculator, non-calculator. Number 12. Let's see if I can get this right. Number 12, 11.
I literally forgot the most basic.
So, Chris says, teach me something today. All right, you guys have never seen this before. However, you have seen power to a power. Easier problem. What is x to the square to the third power? Do you remember the rule?
No.
Do you remember the rule? What's x squared to the third power? That would be x squared times x to the third. Remember, that rule is you add the two exponents. What's power raised to another power? What's the rule? You learned it last year, Algebra 1.
Do you think I remember? I don't remember.
You
why
learned it
I-
8th grade as well. What's power of power, Micah? What's the rule? You just multiply the two numbers together. Are you listening? Hey, power of power, you multiply the two numbers together, you're done. That's it. Don't panic. It's got ugly things that are fractions. Power of power just simply means multiply. Hey, what's 2 times a half? So we got x. What's 3 times a half? Let's just write it as 3 over 2. What's a third times 2? The third times 2. No. Third times 2.
Oh, sorry,
2 thirds.
Okay, this is like.
What's a third times 3? Now, we said power to power, you multiply. What's multiply rule? What's the multiply rule with exponents? We just did it before. What's x squared times x to the third? You just add them. So power to power multiply, multiply, you add. I'm going to write this as 1 over 1. I'm going to write this as 1 over 1. Well, let's multiply like terms. What do you get? Multiply means what do you do with these? You add them. We need common denominators. What's common denominator? So I'll write that as 3 over 3, and we get 5 over 3. X 5 over 3. We could probably stop because it says in the equation above a is a constant. What do we get?
5.
You're done. And we have to finish that one. Now, you guys have never done anything like that before, so.
That was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
would
easy.
skip that.
But it was kind of easy.
But it was very easy. I'm just saying, all the ones that I've seen where it was like next year's math, it's actually been a pretty easy problem. It hasn't been like crazy hard. But are you going to remember all that? Maybe one of you might.
I looked at the equation about that
Right, you
problem.
have to remember that.
Somebody check the answer. Make sure it was C. 12.
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead. On. You guys are like, nobody wants to look at the calculator.
No,
I
it's
don't
gonna be
have
so
a
easier.
calculator.
By the way, who's going to be the one to screw this up?
For sure.
Hey, you cannot screw this up. Do you need me to call your home tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning? Wait, you take the test on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you want me to call your house?
I
Then you better not screw this up.
can set myself an alarm.
I put my my reputation on the line. I'm like, they're 10th graders. They're not going to screw this up. They wanted me to take all of your calculators and hold on to them. And I was like, I think I told you so. I'm like, I'm not going to keep $3,000 worth of calculators. I'll lose one. And I'll be mad. All right. It says a line is graphed XY plane. If the line has a positive slope, visually, what does a positive slope look like? Visually. If a line has a positive slope and a negative y-intercept, so is this right?
I remember one thing about this type of
Okay, hold on. How I drew it, where's my y-intercept?
Positive,
So it says it needs to be,
negative.
so it would look like that or that. So there are two lines. They both have a positive slope and a negative y-intercept. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Negative y-intercept. Which of the following points cannot live on the line? What do you notice about both of these lines? Where does it not go? Yeah, but where does it not go?
The negative.
Sector 1.
Quadrant. This is 1.
2.
Doesn't go quadrant 2. So any point here could not be on this line. Notice any line you draw that has a positive slope and a negative y-intercept would go through 3, 4, and 1. So which one would live here of those points?
B.
That's it. Easy one.
This is the x-axis, right?
Oh, dear God. Oh, man. That's the best line all year.
What's the x-axis?
You are right. It goes X.
Okay.
Just remember, the airplane has to go down the runway before it takes off, and it's alphabetical. X, Y.
Okay.
All right. Micah, pick one.
How do I do my alphabet?
Calculator 15.
Calculator 15.
Calculate 12.
Wow, there's nothing written here. This 15 would be a fill in the blank one.
Going, that's not calculated. Yeah.
This is not a good day.
Well, this one looks like a failure.
We have not talked about the equation of circles. We're pretty close. We're like a chapter away. No, it's next chapter, I believe. No, actually, no. Geometry never talks about, it's algebra 2, I think, when you get this first formula. So there's a formula to make circles. A circle is graphed in XY plane if the circle has a radius of 3 and a center of -4, 2. Which of the following? Okay, so you would have to know the formula for circles. And it turns out, well, you don't know that formula. Take a look at the equation. Take a guess.
I'm a hardcore guess in B.
Okay, so we got a guess of B. Anybody else? I got B as a possible answer.
C.
C. Throw out A. Why not? All right. So without knowledge of the formula, you wouldn't get this right.
It's D. It's C.
It is not B.
Oh, dang it.
It's C.
The formula, I don't want to write a formula for the sake of you trying to remember. The formula ends in equals the radius squared for circles.
So it would be 9.
So it's either C or D.
It's D. It's C. It's D.
If you looked at the answer, but it doesn't count that way. You have to know the formula. And it turns out that the formula has a minus sign in between the first and the second term. Further, it's one of those ones, like, I don't know, slope where you subtract the two things. So it's always the opposite of this number and the opposite of this number, which is why this says -4 and +2. And both things are squared. Are you going to get this one? Probably not. Right? You haven't been exposed to the formula. But
This is with calculator.
this is with calculator. Do we need a calculator for this?
No.
The other thing, too, is not the calculators we have. You could do this on Desmos. You could literally just type it into Desmos and made a circle then with a radius of 3 and a center of 4, it would work. But unfortunately, with your calculators, you can't type it in because it doesn't say y equals. Right? There is a formula for circles that says y equals as well, too. This is called the, what is this called? Is this called standard form for a circle, or is it called the, I don't know. I don't know the name of this particular one. I believe it's just called the equation of a circle. But I know of two formulas, but one's simply because using a graphing calculator. All right, so 15, nope, we're probably not going to get that one. All right, go ahead. 27 on the calculator. 27 on the calculator. Okay. Ooh, system of equations. Okay. The equation shown above the lines XY plane, which of the following ordered pair represents? Hey, two options here. Graphing calculator, plug and chug. Which one you want? This is calculator. Well, I still didn't hear anybody say calculator. Now, if you were to type this in the calculator, guess what you'd have to do? Not too much. What would you have to do? Whenever you graph something, what must it say? For anything you graph, what must, on our calculators, what must it say? Y equals. So you could turn this into y equals, multiply both sides by 3. Subtract 154, divide everything by -4. Like, I don't want to divide by negative. Remember, you got a calculator. You could. Yeah, but you don't need to worry about it. You just need to type it in your calculator. All right, grab your calculators, those that have it. Let's just do this one. To solve for y on the first one, we simply multiply both sides by 3. So we get y is equal to 3x. There's your first equation. The second one, subtract 154 from both sides, divide by -4. Do you see that?
-4 divided by 4 is -1.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that. You just need to type it into your calculator. So we get y is equal to 10x over 4, -4, sorry. Minus 154 divided by -54 will be positive. So we get plus 154 over 4. Is that divisible? I believe so by 4. I think that's divisible, isn't it? 4 goes into 15, what? 3 times 24. So is it 38? Is that right? 30? No, 36. Is that right? 24. 12. No, that's not right. 154 divided by 4 goes 3 times 12. Oh, 34. No, it's not divisible by 4. So we can reduce that to 77 over 2. You don't have to because you're plugging in your calculator. So we're going to type those two things into our calculator and let the calculator do the heavy lifting for us. So y is equal to 3x. Y is equal to 3x. On the second one, y is equal to 10 divided by -4. You can reduce that to what? 5 over -2x plus 77 over 2. 77 divided by 2.
There's something wet inside of my desk.
Little dead body.
Now you're going to need to put that in front. That negative, not the minus q. Write that one again. Go over 1. Make it clear. Just get clear. So write 10 divided by -4. -4. Close your parentheses. Type on an x. Plus 77 divided by 2.
I know.
Don't look for the rest of the day, got it?
Okay, hit the graph button.
Hands
There's your first one. You can't see the second one because it's way up there, 77. So we need to hit the zoom,
I'm not giving you.
and we're going to zoom to data.
Heal me,
Wait,
please.
I cast cure wounds on that.
Or zoom fit. Sorry. I forget. This one's got zoom fit. That will be the second line. There's your first line. There's your second line.
Bleeding out on the
And
ground.
then you're going to do that. Calculate on the intersection point.
And then Leslie's just like, no, I refuse.
Calculate second.
I don't
Calculate.
Intersection.
Intersection.
Or like someone else, like at work is gonna.
Enter.
You know, he's like, oh,
And one more answer.
Chris is gonna have.
And there's your answer. So the answer is.
I just can I just heal myself?
Answer is.
Tries to do CPR, but he like ends up crushing.
There you go. All right, while you guys were messing around, Jen already solved it just by typing into her calculator. I'm just going to say, you don't have to do, you could do a plug and chug here.
I think the plug and chug would be easier.
The problem is the one that actually is the answer, which is D, which she did simply by typing both into her calculator. They've got really ugly numbers. You'd have to, this one can be done by hand. It absolutely, it's just, remember, it was D, so it's the last one. You probably already checked A, B, C. It's the last one, and the numbers are a little bit uglier. If you know what you're doing with your graphing calculator, it can be done very quickly. All right, who are we on? Connor? Pick one, Connor. Hey, boys over there who did nothing while we did that work, please stop. 13 non-calculator. Let's see if that's an easy one or not. 13 non-calculator. Matt, stop.
I'm sorry,
You're driving me crazy.
I stuck my hand in something wet.
Agree, but let's concentrate. It says, if this equation is graphed, it's parabola. Okay. What is the x-coordinate of the vertex? All right. I've not shown you this before. Vertex. All right. The vertex of a parabola depends upon whether it opens up or opens downward. The vertex would be right here. If it opens up, the vertex will be right here. Calculator can find this all out for you. Okay. First. All right, you're not going to get this one then. Never mind. You got to put this in vertex form. You guys don't know about vertex form, so you're not going to get this one. You could take a guess though. You could take a guess, right? If you literally were like, well, I'm done with my test and I only got one left and I got 10 minutes, you could graph this by hand, right? You can just plug in some values and see which ones end up being the highest or the lowest y value. Okay? turns out there's what's called a vertex form of a quadratic. You guys will learn that next year algebra too. So this one actually is I'd have to put in vertex form to figure out the answer. Or take my calculator and tell the calculator to find the vertex. All right, so finally we get to one that we literally cannot do, like this year. All right. We're back to Danny.
Take one, Nanny. She's called Nanny. Nanny.
25.
Calculator, not calculator. Calculator. All right, a lot of words there. Let's see if it's easy or hard. The population of squirrels in the park has been doubling. Every 15 years, it doubles.
Oh, God, no.
Okay. Which of the following statements describes a function that best models the relationship between the population and the number of 15-year time periods? When does it double? Every 15 years. Do you understand the word called linear and exponential? What is the key word in linear? Okay, so even if you didn't know what an exponential growth was, you know that the word linear means line. If I were to graph the population, I'm just going to graph it. At time 0 right here, how many squirrels you got, for instance?
0.
You got to have, in order for them to double, I'm not going to tell you have failed biology, but you need at least 2.
I did
Right.
know biology.
Let's say you only have 2, right? So at time 0, we have 2. So there's going to have a dot right there on 2. If they double every 15 years, what happens after 15 years?
It goes up to 4.
3, 4. Okay. So here's year 0, here's year 15. We're right here. Hey, that makes a nice line, right? But what happens after year 30?
It goes steady.
Goes steeper. We're at 8. And then the next one, even steeper. So the shape of it would not be a line. It would look something like that. It just gets more and more and more. That is your shape of exponential growth.
It's like hands up.
So would linear growth be a possibility if you're doubling every
No.
15 years?
No, C and D are just gone.
Okay.
They
If you're doubling every 15 years, but let's think about this. We better throw some numbers in. Let's throw some numbers in. So let's do a table. Here's my table. Pick a bigger number than 2. 2 is just, how many?
87.
Oh, a nice friendly number. We got to do math with it. Not calculate. 8 or 6. So 8 is what I was starting. So sorry. At year 1 or 0, we have 8 squirrels.
Oh, no.
Right? At year 15, we have.
16, 12.
At year 30, we have.
16, 32, 12.
At year 45, we have.
I haven't been pretty nice yet.
Double.
64.
64. Okay. Well, let's see if this is linear. If it's linear, the slope has to be the same between any 2 points. That's what makes a line. What's the slope here? 16 minus 8. 16 minus 8
80.
over 15. That's my slope. Positive slope, right? If it's linear, the slope will be the same between any 2 points. Pick 2 more points. If it's linear, if it makes a line, the slope will be the same.
45, 16.
Okay, 64 minus 32. 64 minus 32. 45 minus 30. Did we get the same thing?
No.
It's not linear. There's another way. Can't be linear. It doubles every. Right? Okay. We've eliminated what? We've eliminated C and D. Not linear. It doubles every 15 years. All right. A says exponential growth because the population of squirrels is increasing by the same amount each 15-minute period. Sounds kind of true.
This is a dire situation.
B, exponential growth because the population of squirrels is increasing by the same percentage every 15 years. Which one? Okay. Why do you say B, not A?
Because it's double, so you're not adding the same amount.
This says literally the same amount, everything. The first thing we're adding how much?
8.
But over here we added, so just by that, even if you didn't understand what it meant by percentage, it's got to be B. Answer? Okay. There we go. This is a medium to a hard one because one, you got to know what understanding what exponential growth was, and if you didn't, then you would have to figure it out by doing this table. Once you understand what exponential growth is, you didn't need to do a table to figure this one out. For the kids that know about exponential growth, which you guys don't yet, that's an algebra 2 thing as well too. You were exposed to this slightly in 8th grade, but not by much. All right. I said these ones were slightly harder than the previous ones. Who are we on? Matt.
Pain and suffering?
By the way, 25 was kind of medium.
I mean, I knew it was B from like the very beginning.
There you go. Think about that. We spent 5 minutes on that one and you were already done with it. And even if it was a guess, you had already been working on 2 other problems while we were still getting this one done. No, make sure it's a good guess though.
But then you guys are all working and I'm done.
So you have more time to find out how many you got wrong. Matt, pick one.
All right, let's do 14 non-calculator.
14, non-calculator.
It looks like pain and suffering. So it's that one.
Well, remember, we were trying to pick ones that we wanted to try because we thought that we might be able to get them. All right, not many words there.
That is not what mine looks like.
You guys calculate.
Ah, it's not very good today. What? That seems very short. How hard could this be if that's all there is? Let's see. It says in the equation above, A is a constant. A constant is a fancy word for,
Something remains the same.
so therefore it is a,
Constant.
yeah, but if it remains the same and it never changes, it must be
Constant.
a number.
Oh.
Hey, the constant is always 5. 5 never changes. It's always 5. Okay? You're like, well, it could be variable. But remember, variable could be any number. Constants are always just a fancy word for a number. Pi is a constant. It never changes. 3.14 rounded. Okay? All right, so A is a number. It could be positive, negative. Also could be pi. In the equation above, A is a constant. For what values of A, so it's saying for what numbers, gives it an infinite number of solutions. Do you remember last year in Algebra 1 when we got the answer, infinite solutions? What happened? Right before we wrote infinite solutions, we were solving equations. What happened? For instance, we had 3x plus 4 is equal to x times, I don't know, 3 minus, I gotta put the 3 on the outside. 3 times x minus 1. You had this one last year. What did you do when you solved this one? First step. Okay, so you got 3x plus 4 is equal to,
3x minus 3.
and then what did you do?
Subtract.
Subtracted 3x from both sides, and what did you get?
4 equals negative 3.
And then what did you write for your answer? What did you write for this answer? What did you write when you got something that said 4 equals negative 3?
I have no idea.
You wrote no solutions because 4 doesn't equal negative 3. Remember, we solved equations. The variables went away. Hey, stop. Let's finish this one. We got 2 minutes. When you solve an equation, the variables go away and you're left with nonsense. The answer is always, come on, stay with me. The answer is always no solution. What would it look like if it was infinite solution? Last step.
It would look like 4 equals.
It would look like 4 equals 4. So the question is, What does A have to be so that we get the same thing on both sides? What does that say right there?
21x.
Are we going to get a 21x?
Wait, yes.
What does that say?
14.
So what does A have to be in order to get a 14? What? 7 times 7 is 49. So it has to be a 2. By the way, this is a fill in blank. A equals 2.
Wait, okay, so are these going to exist on the real test like the
Say again?
fill in the blanks? Will those
Remember, there's
exist?
going to be, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these on the test. Hey, for the fill in the blank ones, what page is it on? 47. For the fill in the blank ones, they look like this. Matt, stop. Look, they look like this. You have 4 blanks. What do we get for an answer? We got 2. So where does our 2 go?
Anywhere.
Anywhere. And remember, if you put a 2 there, you don't get it right. What do you do to get it right? You got to bubble in a 2. Okay. Fractions look like this. Decimals look like this. 2.5 can go left or right. 201 can go anywhere. You don't want to put a space between. Mixed numbers, don't write any mixed numbers. Change them to an improper fractions. All right, good luck on your test. Trash can.